is up, everybody, and welcome back to Lesser Athletes. My name is Chadwell, and today, like always, another interesting video for you here on the channel. Was Bron Breakker losing to Jey Uso good? I am about an hour after this Raw, so this is just Raw kind of, well, that's kind of funny that I just said that, Raw kind of reaction, kind of initial reaction to Bron Breakker losing to Jey Uso, and was it good, was it not? I felt a different type of emotion seeing Jey Uso win. One, ecstatic. Jey Uso is one or two of my favorite wrestler in all of the WWE and all in just wrestling in general. I've been a Jey Uso fan for a while, so this did feel good to watch this happen, but there was some, counter feelings that I had towards it where you didn't win essentially to an extent of, yes, Jey Uso won, but also some stuff in the background. But I have just some thoughts and feelings, and we're just going to basically answer, was Bron Breakker losing to Jey Uso good? So first, what did happen? Jey Uso won a tournament to go against Bron Breakker for the IC title. Originally, a lot of people thought it was going to happen at Bad Blood. Instead, it happened on a random episode of Raw, which maybe it wasn't random to a lot of people, but a really good episode of Raw, let me say that. 2 weeks before, or I guess a week and a half from Bad Blood. And they finally had the match, and Jey Uso beat Bron Breakker, who looks like he will be the face of the company moving forward at some point. So a huge shot, a huge shock. I think everyone and their mamas thought that Bron Breakker was going to be the one to hold this title for, I don't know, months. I mean, if you look at any of my videos, I don't expect him to lose this title till WrestleMania, Royal Rumble. That's where I thought it was going to happen. Instead, he gets a 51-day reign, which 51 days, kind of crazy to hear. So that's basically what happened. Now, how does this affect Bron Breakker? This is what I kind of want to talk about. And kind of talk about, I'll wait for that actually. How did this affect Bron Breakker? Initial reaction to this was, for me, wow, I cannot believe they took off this title off Bron Breakker when you're supposed to make him look like the next indestructible, can't be beaten kind of guy in this company. And I think that's the thing. I know some people might say, well, we want shorter reigns. There was longer reigns before, but there is a time and place to do some of these things where I feel like if you're going to do that, do it in a triple threat. I think if Bron Breakker's going to lose, don't let him get pinned. You want to make Bron Breakker seem like he is the guy of this company, if that is your plan. If that is your plan, which I think it's clear that that is your plan. Another thing I want to say is that for Bron Breakker, I feel like this is my only thing with this whole thing. If they feel Bron Breakker is main event ready and ready to jump up into that kind of bigger area, having bigger feuds, having bigger one-on-ones, having bigger championship kind of opportunities. If that is the case, I can't say Bron Breakker kind of losing this wasn't a good idea. I think it works out well. It makes you start learning, Bron Breakker is in a new level now. Another thing I want to talk about, though, is the fact that Bron Breakker, in his only second defense, loses his title. In my opinion, hurts him for the short term. I'm not going to act like Bron Breakker still is not going to be a multi-time winning championship winner. It's going to happen. It's just kind of win. I feel like, truthfully, it makes a lot of sense for Bron Breakker to hold on this title a little bit. My whole point that I think I'm going to talk about in a second, one, but also at the same time, is that if I see Bron Breakker lose his title and then win off Jey Uso in 2 to 3 months, whatever it might be, I might be a little bit pressed in my opinion. I think that just letting Bron Breakker hold it and acting like giving Jey Uso a run at the title just to have a run at the title, I'd rather Jey Uso have this title with meaningfulness and like a little bit like that. I don't think that this hurts Bron Breakker at all, but I do want to say that I think it doesn't. Sorry, let me take this. I don't think this tarnishes Bron Breakker at all. Do I think it could hurt him on the small side of things, like in the next month maybe? Possibly. But when we're looking long-term picture, I don't think this affects Bron Breakker as a, face of the company type of thing. Now, this is just my personal opinion about this. I've had a debate with my close friends about this. I stood on business, and I'm going to stand on business here. I think the thing that I didn't like about this, which you're not winning. And I decided that I found out a thing that I think would make this kind of work out well is that the reason why these titles look so prestigious and look like main event people are going after these titles is because of longer reigns. Longer reigns is a good way to really make this title look good. Yes, switching it up makes a lot of sense. And I agree that a shorter reign would work, but would I rather have it at PLE? Yes. And that's kind of goes into my point that being on an episode of Raw that doesn't have any significance really, like for example, a going to the new CW or something like that, I say that it kind of hurts the title. I mean, the thing with the IC title with Gunther, for example, when he had it, it made it feel like the IC title was truly not a mid-card title. It felt like that superstars, like the top people, had to go for this title and they still lost. That's something that you would still want to continue. The thing that I don't really like about the US title and that the IC title now is now starting to feel like it is a mid-card title. It does feel like that they have a better chance of switching on a Raw, for example, or a US, or not USA Network, USA Network. It's just a SmackDown. It just feels like, truthfully, that it makes it a little less than the championships, which I do agree they are less than the championships, but when it comes down to it, you're not trying to put that persona. You still want a championship to look like a championship. Another thing that I think a lot of people said was shorter reigns with a lot of people makes a lot of sense. In my opinion, heavily decline on that one because I think the thing that makes championships more attractive and more meaningful when they win is when these longer reigns or when no one has a reign and you're somebody that's now holding it. If everyone had a 30-day reign, the title would be meaningless. Look at the 24/7 title. Look at the speed title a little bit. It's a little meaningless, okay? The matches, everything's fast and just quick, whatever. In my opinion, with the IC title happening, I'm kind of rambling here, but happening on a Raw that was a little iffy. I'd rather them go for all PLEs, but my solution for this is that if I saw every single title have an opportunity to really change, like on a Raw, on a SmackDown, whatever it might be, if that was the case, then I would be fine with this. But knowing in my head that PLEs are when they change it, it really is just, it just makes me feel it makes me feel like this is a mid-card title. And I don't want to feel that way. I want to feel like this is a title that a lot of people, the main eventers, will even strive for. Granted, maybe they don't, but it's just how it is. Another thing I want to say is that I think the surprise element was very, very well. But again, I feel like if I would want a surprise element, you got to make all the titles feel like they could be changed in a Raw or SmackDown. Again, I want to also kind of reappoint this part. Raw and SmackDown are very predictable. I mean, very, very predictable in their matches. That's the thing. So this does change that, gives you maybe a little bit of unpredictableness that you'll need. I also want to say that a lot of people think PLEs are predictable, and I don't agree with that. I think who thought that Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair were going to lose at Clash of the Castle? Who thought Gunther was going to lose to Sammy? Who thought, I'm trying to think of ones. Chad Gable, I just said my mic. Chad Gable was going to lose to Sammy. Who thought Nia Jax was going to win from Bayley? Not a lot of people. I mean, there's matches that we definitely see that it's not as predictable as what people think. So, I mean, and maybe there's surprise factors that are involved. So that's just my opinion. Maybe it's a bit of a rambling session, but I do want to say that I'm so happy with Jey Uso, and I'm excited to see a Jey Uso reign. I think Jey Uso does deserve it. Now, there is some question marks with what's going to happen with Jey Uso that I want to throw out here. What will happen with Jey Uso? Who would be his next competitor? My guess would be probably a rematch. Maybe it is at Bad Blood. If you're seeing this, I am going to Bad Blood. I'm going to have a little vlog, a little thing about that, so please watch that. What's going to happen with Jey Uso? What's going to happen with Survivor? I almost said Survivor Games. I say it all the times. Survivor Series War Games, because if it's Bloodline on Bloodline, is Jey now going to have the title during this? Like how Seth Rollins had the title? while Cody has a title, I mean, I don't know. It really does leave a question mark when it looks at, War Games in general. What's going to happen with Sammy? They're not going to do the tag titles anymore because that's out the picture. Something must have happened where they're like, you know what? We're not doing that. There's a lot of question marks with this. When will Jey lose this? When will Jey win this? Or when will Jey fight somebody next? There's a lot of question marks out of just 1 hour out of this. We'll have to see. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Oh, I didn't even answer the main question. Do I think this was good? Overall, I would say it's more good than bad. I think, in my personal opinion, it's better to give this to Jey, give him his moment, and really build up that title. And if you do believe Bron Breakker is ready to be main event, then it's overall good. But if you're just going to make Jey Uso lose his title in like 3 months, I don't know. But I do think overall it was probably better than not. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.